Hey guys, it's Jessica, and today I'm going to share with you some artist trading cards that I made for the very first time. I was actually inspired to do this by a video I saw from Justine, and I will link that here if you want to check out her video. I had never actually heard of artist trading cards before, and then someone who wanted to buy something from my D-Stash group on Instagram asked if I had an artist trading card, and I had to look it up because I had no idea what that meant, and I was really excited to see that there is kind of a whole world of artist trading cards. So what they are is little works of art that you create. Doesn't even matter like what medium you do for your crafts. You could be a watercolor artist, a card maker, a scrapbooker, anything artistic at all or crafty. You can make an artist trading card that fits your personality and your style. So you can make it your own and do a whole ton of different things. This is just what I chose to do because, like I said, I was inspired by Justine's video, and I really loved what she did. So I thought for my first try, I would do something similar to what she did. So here I am using Distress Oxides, which are pretty much an obsession of mine lately. I use them as much as I can. So what I'm doing is I'm just using the ink blending tool with the circle foam pads to go ahead and blend on the Distress Oxides. I'm taking it directly from the ink pad itself and moving in a circular motion. That seems to work best for me to pick up the ink, and just applying it directly to my little pieces of cardstock. I believe the measurement for these is 2.5 by 3.5. I'll double check, and if that's not right, I will update it. But I think that's the standard size for artist trading cards. So they're always the same size, and that's kind of cool because then you can store them all together. So I decided to do two different styles for this. I did two backgrounds, but I'm going to do them slightly different. So this one I'm using my Mr. bottle, and I'm spritzing the paper with water. One of the cool things about these Distress Oxides is the way they react with water, and that's Distress inks in general, but the Distress Oxides have a different look even than the Distress inks, and it's really cool. I really love the way they look, and if you're interested in learning more about the Distress Oxides, you can check out the video that I did on them here, and I did another one which I will also link to here. So if you're interested in learning more about those, feel free to check them out. For my stamping on this version of my artist trading card, I am using the Prima Spills stamp set. These are cling mounted. I hadn't had a chance to use them yet, so I was really excited to get to use this set. I've been dying to use them. I'm kind of a control freak and a neat freak in a certain way, and I get a little stressed out when things are messy or I don't know exactly what result I'm going to get. So I really like that this kind of has an artistic splattered messy look, but I know exactly what I'm getting. So I really like that about this stamp set. So I'm just using my acrylic blocks to go ahead and mount the stamp on, inking it up with that color box black ink, and applying it directly to my cardstock. I love the way that it looks so crisp and has such a great contrast against the Distress Oxide background. I really love the way it pops and the way it looks. So I started trying to blend in this black soot Distress ink for my corners, and I didn't really like the results I was getting by blending it on, starting off the paper and blending on. I preferred the look I got when I did this, which was kind of just rubbing the foam blending tool along the outside. Again, I prefer the more controlled look where I know exactly what I'm going to get, and I didn't really feel like I was getting that with trying to blend it on. I couldn't really see what I was doing, and this just worked better for me. You can always do whatever works for you, and I'm always just showing one way that you can do it. So I decided to go ahead and put the black edges on my other one also. Again, this is definitely inspired by Justine's video, so you will see some striking similarities between mine and between hers. So if you're interested, be sure to check out her video because obviously that's where I got this idea from. So I'm doing a kind of opposite effect here, where instead of stamping with the black, I'm using the same stamp, but I'm I just spritzed a little bit of water on my craft sheet. I soaked the stamp in the water, and then I held and pressed the stamp onto my Distress Oxide background for a couple seconds to make sure that it really had a chance to set in. Then I removed it and blotted it with a towel, a paper towel. And look how cool that reverse effect is. I didn't get quite the same effect with that bottom one because it wasn't as concentrated and I didn't spend as much time getting the water on the stamp the right way. But I really, really like the way that that looks. So you can get two different effects just by using ink versus using water with those Distress Oxides. Then I decided to use one of my newer stamp sets. It's from Altenew, and I believe it's called To the Moon. I just thought that was a super cute stamp set. I love the realistic moon, and all the cute little sentiments are super adorable. So for this one, I went ahead and inked up the moon, and I put it in the corner. And I'm going to be honest, I really didn't like the way that this turned out so much. It wasn't dark enough when I first stamped it. So I tried the orange because I thought, well, I'll just tie the colors together and hopefully it will work. And I didn't get it quite lined up. I wish I had used my Misty so that it would have been in the exact same place, but I didn't do a good enough job lining up the stamps for the stamp layering set. So they're kind of offset. Maybe I can say it's like a grungy mixed media sort of look, but I would totally be making that up. But I just decided to go with it and leave it, and I think it's grown on me since I finished it, but I didn't like it at first. So then I went ahead and inked up my sentiment. I used two pieces, so I used the moon and then to make a shoot for the moon. And then I stamped on my other one, You're Out of This World. I thought that was a really cute sentiment, and it could work for, pretty much anything. So I thought it was a cute one to give for an artist trading card. So then I went and took this little stamp. I'll have to double check the brand, but it's not one of the bigger companies that's around right now. I don't remember what it is. I'll have to check, and I will link to it if it's available. But it's just this little cute compass rose, and I inked it in a Hero Arts gray ink, and I thought that looked super cute. So now I went ahead and started a second set. I only show in the video making one. So I had two papers out at the beginning, but I only decided to make one at a time because I ran out of time. And I actually shared this on my Instagram a few weeks ago, the picture of these artist trading cards, but I never got around to editing the video. My grandmother passed away and we ended up traveling at the last minute, so I'm sorry that I'm just now getting around to posting this. But here I just did the same exact thing that I did for the first one. I took my Distress Oxides and I went ahead and blended them on using the foam blending tool. I made a little bit of a boo-boo there. My finger had green ink on it and I touched the blue, which is disappointing, but it's okay. I started to use the purple to make my edges because I thought that the black was going to be too dark and have too much contrast, and I didn't think I would like it. I like the way that it looks, but I didn't love it. And for the artist trading card, I thought I wanted some more finite edges, so I decided to go ahead and go with the black soot again and just kind of give it that nice pop of color on the outside. If I had been using this for a card, I may have just left it with the purple because it makes it look kind of more like a scene. Like you could maybe use it for a mermaid card, or maybe a galaxy, like the Northern Lights or something. I don't know. I took this stamp set, which is also from Altenew, and I think it's called Doctor's Rule. I thought this heart was the coolest thing I've ever seen. You don't see so many realistic stamps like this, and I just thought that was super cool. So I was dying to use it, and I thought this was a perfect time to try. So I went ahead and inked up part of this little stamp. This is from the same set from Altenew, and I didn't want the stethoscope. So the stamp itself is like a stethoscope with a heart rhythm coming out of it, like the cord for the stethoscope. But for this, I didn't want the stethoscope. I just wanted the heart rhythm. And so I masked it off, so I only got part of it. and I went ahead and applied it using my ink again. And I'm just kind of randomly putting it where I think it might look okay. There's, again, as always with my stuff, no real rhyme or reason, just sort of wherever I thought it might look okay. I kind of goofed up in the upper right hand corner that you're going to see here in just a second. I didn't really get a very good coat, but it's okay. It's not the end of the world. And because it's kind of like the grungy whatever, hopefully no one will judge me too harshly for it. Okay, so the next thing that I did was I took my blue Distress Oxide, I smushed it around on my craft mat, and then I spritzed it with some water to get it liquidy and kind of movable. And I took my splatter brush from Tim Holtz Ranger, and I am just spritzing it on, or I don't know, kind of flicking. I still haven't figured out what to call this motion. In one of my other videos, I called it sproinging. So maybe I'll just stick with that for the sake of having some sort of term for it. I don't know. But I went ahead and flicked on the Distress Oxide, and I blotted it up with a paper towel, and I was so happy with the way it turned out. I thought it looked so cool. So there I tried to do it with no water, and I really didn't get anything on there. I think if I were going to do this again, I would have left the purple off. I don't think it really added much. I thought it looked pretty cool with just the blue, but overall I was really happy with the way it turned out anyway, so I don't know, maybe I would do it again, but I didn't think it added enough. So here's a picture at the end of how they turned out. You can see here that I did add some white speckles to those first two that I made, and I didn't show that in the video, so sorry about that. And then here is a photo of the second one I made as well. I hope that you liked them and that you were inspired to try this if you haven't already. Be sure to let me know if you had heard of artist trading cards before, or if you've made them yourself. I might be in the market to trade with some people, so if you do that, let me know in the comments below. I hope you loved the video. As always, if you did, be sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this.